In a prior video, I spoke of Taylor Swift's song Anti-Hero. And it's a song that I'm really, really fond of, a song that I really like, and a song that I think is really great, and really quite profound. It's a song that will reverberate through the ages. And I don't find that, I find it mysterious. I'll just put it that way. I find it mysterious that Taylor Swift has suddenly written this quality of a pop song, which isn't to say that she's bad, that she's been, that she doesn't have skill, that she doesn't have talent, or anything like that. I'm not saying anything like that. I am, however, saying that if you look at the corpus of her work prior to this song, nothing really prepares you for this. This song seems to come out of nowhere. Sometimes with an artist, you can chart the evolution. You can see how they went from this to this to this to this to this, and it makes sense. You draw a line between the dots, from one dot to the next to the next to the next. And admittedly, I don't know the entirety of Taylor Swift's corpus of songs, so it might be that I'm wrong. It might be that her prior album, contains some semi-profound songs that I'm not aware of. I don't know, but it just seems to me like this one just comes out of absolute nowhere, and that's what made me, as far as quality, as far as profundity, and that's what made me speculate as to whether it perhaps could have been ghostwritten. Who really knows? Who knows who actually writes the songs? To refer back to Barry Manilow's hit from several decades ago. He in that song he says, "I write the songs that make the whole world sing." Well, who is I? who is that person? Who is the songwriter? Under the Silver Lake, the movie has a scene that I spoke of in a prior video where there's some character who, it turns out, has been churning out all of these songs, for decades, that people feel, they can relate to, and they associate it with the artist who sang it. And it turned out it's just this one guy who's writing all of these songs, who's got whose job it is to socially engineer society through the writing of these songs, to manufacture rebellion, to manufacture ideas of relationships and romance and whatever, and to shape the human mind. Anyway, that's a long preamble. Let me just say, I will stipulate that Taylor Swift actually wrote this song. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt and say, she just sort of grew another brain, or grew this kind of I don't know, this talent organ, or this capacity for lyrical profundity that had not been there previously. Even though, as I said, I'm not putting her down. I'm not saying she's not talented or anything like that, or that she hasn't been talented or hasn't written, good songs prior to now, even though I'm not exactly a fan. So, Anti-Hero, what's it all about? I'm going to argue first of all that I think what makes this song so singular is, I think this might be the first pop song that could be called anti-feminist, in a long time, perhaps ever. I know that if you want to get technical, you could say that Tammy Wynette singing, "Stand By Your Man," whenever that was that in the 60s or something, that was, and then there were other examples from the past of a female singer expressing uh, a a perspective or a point of view that seems to go against the prevalent, feminism that's just sort of in the air and in the water, and it's part of the whole dominant ideology that we all have to buy into. Unless we become aware, unless we become red pilled, and start to consider, the kind of ideologies that are just being that we're just being forced to inhale, as it were, without examination. This is a very contemplative song. It's a song about self-examination, and it's a very humble. It's a song that expresses humility and painful self-awareness. And what is the painful self-awareness? It is the awareness that the woman speaking is the problem. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. And she talks again, that brilliant line. I'll stare directly in the sun, but never in the mirror. She's finally being forced to examine herself in a way that's honest, the same way that, looking into your own eyeballs in the mirror forces you to be honest about yourself. Doing this, but in a deeper sense, looking into the bowels of your own soul, as it were, forces you to be honest with yourself. And the typical thing you would hear is female empowerment. I can do anything. I don't need no man. I'm strong. I kick ass. These are the messages we get from female pop songs, female singers of pop songs. This manufactured perspective, this manufactured and controlled, and again, highly formulaic and formulated perspective. This is it's just like getting a drink from a vending machine, and this drink has been bottled with certain ingredients. Well, you hear a feminist pop song, and it's just sort of like, oh yeah, here all those same ingredients again. I don't need no man. I'm strong. I'm awesome. And so forth and so on. Just endless braggadocio. But somehow it's not obnoxious. We're not supposed to see it as obnoxious. We're not supposed to see it as overtly prideful, like we would if a man were saying those things, because it's empowering. It's empowerment. That's what we've been trained to think anyway. Now, I think in a later video I might go line by line through the song Anti-Hero, but for now I'm just going to stick with a couple of lines that I think say a lot. And the one that jumps out at me, aside from the refrain about I'll look directly in the sun but never in the mirror, I'll do something that is dangerous, that I'll tempt fate, I'll tempt blindness, I'll sort of like Icarus flying too close to the sun kind of thing. I'll look right at the sun, thinking that even the sun can't burn the retinas of my eyes, but never in the mirror, because if I really were to examine myself, I wouldn't like what I saw. So that's a brilliant line, and it applies to everybody. I mean, it's not just women; it's men and women both. It's all of us. Okay, in a deeper sense, I think this is a song that could be, that's very relatable. That we can all understand, whether we're male or female. But I do think that there's something interesting about having a woman sing a song where she says, "I should not be left to my own devices. I should not be left to my own devices. They lead to vices and crises. They lead to vices and prices, and I end up in crisis. Okay. Now, that's really something. That's really something to hear a woman say, I should not be left up to my own devices. Because everything that we hear out of Hollywood, out of just this manufactured ideology, part of which is, this manufactured feminism of today, is the very opposite of that. I leave me to my own devices. I can do anything on my own. I don't need a man. But here it's sort of this admission that if I'm left to my own devices, things go wrong. Things go haywire. I do things that screw up my life. And perhaps the suggestion there, dare I say, that she's saying she needs guidance. She needs a helping hand. She needs to be led, dare I say. She needs to submit, dare I say. She would be in better shape if somebody came along and led her and forced her to stop being so prideful, to stop thinking that she should be the leader, that she should be the one who controls things, because that's not her place in nature. I wake up screaming from dreaming. One day you'll leave when you get tired of all my scheming, and my life will be over for the last time. I'm approximating the words there, but she's describing being in a relationship and always, being the one who's doing the scheming, who's trying to mess with everything, trying to scheme, trying to get her way, refusing to be submissive, and finally the guy. And by the way, being submissive doesn't mean anything. You shouldn't think that submission equates to something that is humiliating, or that is frightening, or scary, or means that your full humanity is not acknowledged, or anything like that. But it just means saying, I will be led. I will be humble. And this is something that men also are asked to do. Men are should be led according to Scripture. Men ought to be led directly by God and should imitate God, should be God for their wives, and wives should submit to their husbands. But the wives submitting to their husbands, it also it requires the reciprocal gesture of husbands being good caretakers of their wives, of being safeguarders and protectors, and so forth. So it's a two-way street. But I really don't think that I'm off on this point, because she talks about the speaker talks about how her refusal to submit and her insistence upon being left to her own devices, being the one in charge, leads to this situation where, when she's in a potential relationship, that she's always just trying to take charge and doing this and doing that and scheming, scheming for power, scheming for control, uh, and just creating chaos, because this is going against nature, until eventually she anticipates the man leaving, because he's had enough, and that will be the end of her when that happens. So that's what I think is part of what is makes this song extraordinary and a real standout, uh, compared to what is generally manufactured today. Is we find in the song the admission, I should not. First of all, I'm the problem. It's me. Second of all, I should not be left to my own devices. That's a real bitter pill for the modern woman to swallow. But again, more extensively, it's a bitter pill for all of us, because the modern age is an age in which we, or the rulers of the age, the usurping rulers of the age, want to wrest control away from our true creator, from God, and to become gods ourselves, and to say, we can make the world in our own image, we can make our own reality, and so forth, which is not something we were ever designed to do. We were designed to be submissive to our creator, all of us, men and women alike. But this is a song by a woman singing about a lot of things, but one of them is a failing relationship, and she's admitting that part of the reason why this relationship has been failing, or will end up failing, is because she's just falling into the same old habits, and that's because she's been left to her own devices, and the responsibility for that rests with rests with men, actually. Because we've all allowed the situation to become the way that it is, and that has led to deep unhappiness all around. It's led to unhappiness specifically for women, because now they think they're in control. They think it's proper for them to be in control. And they have, they think that it's proper for them to, instead of safeguarding their purity, until they're married, which has been the standard notion of sexual morality for ages and ages, until like 60 years ago, 50, 60 years ago, things suddenly got flipped on their head. And now women are encouraged to go out and, and do what they want, have fun with as many men as they want. And when you leave women to their own devices in this way, it leads to vices, the vice of immodesty, the vice of unchastity, the vice of licentiousness, and others, and prices. And the price is that this deep unhappiness, because they are acting in a manner that is contrary to how they were created, and to what will actually give them fulfillment and happiness. All right, so I'll stop with my assessment of the lyrics of Taylor Swift's Anti-Hero, and like I said, next time I cover this topic, I think I'll have the whole lyrics in front of me, and I'll go more line by line, because I think it's worth it. I think it's a really good song that is worth going over, worth examining. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Talk to y'all soon.